Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Acorn Grand Final for the 2022 tournament. Okay, congratulations for both teams for being here. Before we start, we'll go over some rules that we've heard all the time, but it's always good to refresh. Remember, in any case of connectivity issues, the amount of time we have is 5 minutes to come back. Okay. During all times, please remain all three debaters in the frame so we can see everyone. Remember that you cannot be with anyone else inside the room, either walking around or talking to you guys. And I'll be your timekeeper. Remember, I'll be clapping Lauren at 1 and then clapping again at 4 and a double clap at 5. For this, I recommend everyone to be able to time yourselves so you know the passing of time throughout the whole speech, and also time the other team in order to know when to ask for points of information and when not to, so we can avoid having points out of time. So, as the motion today is going to be, this house would only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services rather than cash payments. For proposition, we have Collective Say, with the first speaker, Guadalupe Pina, second speaker, Josefina Arquela Latour, and third speaker, Maria Jose Correa. The reply speech will be done by Josefina Arquela Latour. And as the opposition, we have All Saints School. The first speaker, Solana Garbel, the second speaker, Catalina Cabestrero, and the third speaker, Francisco Del Saquen. And the reply speech will be done by Solana Garbel. We have today 5 judges. We have Juan Baldoni from Mendoza. We have Karina Sanchez from Provincia of Buenos Aires. We have Veronica Zapata from Mendoza, Cristian Concina from Mendoza, and Francisco Cobo, myself, from Ciudad of Buenos Aires. So without further ado, I invite the first speaker of the proposition to open this debate. Please welcome them.
Eduardo Lopez still received money from the government 1 year after his death. Good afternoon, judges, moderator, opponents, and audience. I'm the first speaker from the proposition team, and the motion for today is this house will only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services rather than cash payment. Well, we as proposition team, we strongly believe that this motion should stand. Before I start with my argumentation, I'm going to explain some terms of the motion. By provide, we mean give something to someone. By welfare, we mean an assistance given by the government for those in need. By basic goods and services include food, health, housing, safety, waste management, and education. And by cash payment, we mean money in the form of bills or coins. Well, we are doing this because nowadays there is some controversy whether it's beneficial or not to pay in cash. Well, in this debate, we are going to prove that with this motion, we are going to foster a healthy nutrition, avoid corruption, improve the society, and improve the economy of the families, small and medium companies, and the country's economy too. Well, we have developed our debate in 3 main arguments. The first one is called Two Birds, One Stone, and it tackles the social aspect of the motion, and it will be delivered by me. The second one is called Law and Order. It tackles the political aspect of the motion, and it will be delivered by the second speaker. The third one is called Make and Smith. It tackles the economical aspect of the motion, and it will be delivered by the second speaker too. Well, as we are proposition team, we have to develop a model. So, well, as we are going to prove in our arguments, giving money in other ways than cash is more beneficial for everyone. For this model, we are going to focus in Argentina, that is a place that we live and we know. But this model can be applied all over the world according to the country's necessities. Well, for this model, we are using the feeding card, or in Spanish, tarjeta alimentar. And with this feeding card, we'll have a specific amount of money used for basic goods. Well, this can be used for food, public transport, or basic engineering products, or other basic needs. Well, to buy these products, you will have to show their ID to check that it's the person. Well, this card will not let you buy some products such as alcohol, cigarettes, or other non-basic goods. We know that these products will not help the person in any way. Well, all the supermarkets and small and medium companies will be added to a software. that will have a list of what each family consumes, and will keep track about these products that the family consumes, and well, the list will be given to the government. Well, to foster buying in these special small and medium companies, they will have special offers and benefits to give a benefit to these small and medium companies. Well, all this model will be applied in a lapse of 2 months. Well, now I'm going to start with my argumentation. Well, the ultimate goal of any government is to ensure the welfare of its people. And how does welfare in the form of services ensure this? Well, now I'm going to explain it. It's really important to say that nutrition equals well-being. It's that indispensable thing that we need to achieve the well-being of a person. It's important to consider too that people without food cannot carry out their daily lives. So, World Health Organization has proven that nutrition is a critical part of health and
information. Do you really think that every single supermarket and business in the whole country will adapt to such thing?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Do you really think that every type of business around the country will adapt to such thing without conditions?
Yes. All these supermarkets and small and medium companies that would be in the model will be added to a software, and we have all these locals will be added to the software to apply this model. As I was saying, World Health Organization has proven that nutrition is a critical part. No, sorry, health and development. And a better nutrition has a lot of benefits. For example, it can make a stronger immune system. Not only that, it has been proven that adequate nutrition can create opportunities to break cycles of hunger and poverty. So it's a thing really important that we need to prioritize. Not only that, by providing people nourishment, we are safe to say that people will be improving their lives in every aspect. For example, children that aren't nourished correctly, they find themselves very unable to learn something in the school. Not only that, adult workers, when they don't have an adequate nutrition, they have less productivity in their works, and they have less overall performance in their daily lives. That's why by providing these services, this welfare in the form of services, it's really important to foster healthy nutrition, and not only that, foster healthy nutrition, respecting the freedom of people to choose. And we guarantee that the assistance they are giving is using for the original purpose and not to fulfill and not wasting in alcohol or other non-basic goods. That's why we believe that this motion will foster healthy nutrition. Thank you very much. And remember, treat people with kindness. Harry Styles Global Tour 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The time is 5 minutes, 11 seconds. 5 minutes, 11 seconds. Thank you very much. I now invite the first speaker for the opposition to open their case. Please welcome them.
Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elena Garradar, and I'm the first speaker representing the opposing team. The topic for today's debate is this House will only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services rather than cash payments. We agree with the definitions given by the proposition team. However, we would like to add a definition according to the word services. We define services as medicine, electricity, and water. We, the opposing team, disagree with the given motion. We believe that the simple concept of welfare stops people from fully developing independently, but cash offers something basic goods and services don't, and that is opportunities. Throughout this whole debate, the proposition team will have to prove that providing services and basic goods in the form of welfare is a better option than providing cash. And they will have to propose an effective plan for this. As your first speaker, I will develop 2 points. The first one, called the development of the people means the development of the country, which will treat in how giving goods and services doesn't deal with poverty, or rather increases it. And my second point, a right is a right, will discuss how basic goods and services go against a person's free will. Our second speaker, Catalina Cabestero, will discuss 1 point titled Money Opens Doors, which will deal with the reasons why the simple concept of cash payments is an easier and more secure way to provide welfare. And our third speaker, Francisco once again, will sum up our team case and rebut what the opposition team says. However, before starting my points, I will rebut what the proposition team has said so far. The proposition team has offered a model like the tarjeta alimentaria for different resources such as electrodomestics and different necessities. But I found 2 failures in the plan. First of all, they weren't specific with every single trademark, every single supermarket, and every single business that they will work with. How am I so sure that every single business will adapt to this system? I am not, because they weren't specific about this. They also, by providing such a system in which every single trademark will adapt to this, there is obviously going to be an interest behind. Therefore, the good of the people isn't going to be the main factor here. Also, how are you so sure that the good spot won't be sold? After all, what the people want is money, and this is a worldwide known problem with giving goods and services. Now I will start my point titled The Development of the People means the development of the country, which will be divided into layers of analysis. The simple concept of welfare has existed in order to help people who do not have money to maintain themselves. Therefore, their country state provides them with different resources. But there is a key word inside the definition of welfare, and that is the word help. The definition of help is make it easier for someone to achieve something. So, if the state creates welfare in the form of help, we would assume that that's something the states want poor people to achieve, is to be able to live their lives in a good condition and to stop them from stop being poor, right? Because after all, the state is supposed to care for the country's people, and no state will want their people to be poor, right? No state will want their people to live in bad conditions, right? However, if the welfare the state decided to provide is in the form of food and various services, they are not helping those in need to get out of an uncomfortable economic situation, but rather they are making poor people continue being poor. And this is the main topic in my first layer of analysis. By providing such resources we have been mentioning throughout this debate, the person who receives them will take advantage of them. They will use them or consume them, depending on what type of aid we are referring to. However, by doing this, their economic situation does not change. The family or person still doesn't have a steady income. They are rather consuming what they could buy themselves if they had one. Once they run out of these assets, they will simply receive more, continuing with the same economic situation. If a person receives money and they have to care for it and they have to use it, it forces them to learn how to administrate it, therefore developing their independent skills. These services evade poor people from becoming better. It stops them from growing and it stops our country accepted.
Do you think that this with card you don't have the possibility to manage your money?
I will explain it in my second point. Now to my second point, a right is a right. There is an important aspect that is involved when the decided form of welfare are basic goods and services, and that is the lack of power of decision. Every person has the right to make decisions as long as it only affects them, even if it's negatively or positively, as long as a choice doesn't affect those around them. Then they have the right to make it. By giving welfare in the form of physical resources, you're not giving the person the right to make a decision and administrate themselves in the way that they please. Yes, they will be people who will not use that money smartly, but just because of that, you're going to deprive those who will use it in that way from making their own choices. You'll have people who use it smartly and people who won't. With money, a person can buy a new phone to start a business, learn a new language, and most importantly, get a job, now getting out of their economic situation. So this is why we, the opposition team, believe that this motion should fall. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The time is 4 minutes, 57 seconds. 4 minutes, 57 seconds. Thank you very much. We now invite the second speaker for the proposition to continue their pace. Please welcome them.
Laura Martinez was one of the 44% of the people that use government help to buy dollars. Good afternoon, judges, members of the audience, and my worthy opponents. I am the second speaker of the proposition team, and the motion for today is this House would only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services rather than cash payments. We as proposition team strongly believe that this motion should stand. Okay, now before going to my actual argumentation, I want to refute some terms that the opposition team has just said. First, they say that not every single business can adapt to our model. We think that adapting to our model is worth it because like that we would better the health of the economy, and we would avoid the corruption in our country. So that's why we think that our model would solve all these problems, and it's really easy to adapt because it's just a software that you have to put in a computer. Then they said that also what people want is money. They say that what people want is money, and that people can use the money that they have in the way they want, in the way they want. And we think that the money that people want, we are still giving it. In our software, we have a card in which we are giving money, and people can manage that money in the way they want. But also, we want to lead them by a healthy way, so they can eat healthy and they will have a better economy. And like that, there would not be corruption. So they will still have this money. They will still be able of managing this money, but in a better way. We are just helping them to do that. Okay, now I'm going to go to my actual argumentation. First, well, we all know that the government is helping people in poverty line by giving them money. But is this really working? Is this money being used in the aim way? Well, not. And let us show you why. There's 2,800 people that still receive this money after their death. There's a 44% of the people that receives this money that buys dollars. But do you really think that if you don't have money for the basic services, you need to buy dollars? Really? And there's also a very big part of this population that receives the money that use it for things that are not aimed, like alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, and any of those things help them to better their lives. There's also a little part of the population that, there's also a little part of the population that uses this money right, and they will still be able to manage this money right. But we want just to, our model will help us to avoid all this corruption. Because first, before buying, you will have to show your ID. So like that, all the deaf people will not still receive money. Also, all the people that buys dollars or things for what the money is not aimed, all those things will not be paid by the card. So like that, we would force them to win their own money, so they can buy all those things that they want that the card does not buy. So we are not prohibiting them to buy those things. We are just saying that they will not be able to buy that with the money that the government is giving them, because that money is aimed to better their lives. Okay, so that's how our model will solve all this corruption.
Information.
Okay, accepted.
Friend.
Don't you think a drug addict or someone who's addicted to alcohol, for say, would use the card to buy maybe food and sell the food to buy drugs?
Well, what they do after they buy the food is their problem. The government cannot be in every single situation. I mean, the government cannot control everything. No, we're just leading them for the healthy way. Then what they do with that money or with those things they bought is other topic that the government cannot control. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my second argument. So in the example, focusing on the example of Argentina's country, the prices are very high. So with our model, we would save the economy of the little families, and we will foster little and small medium companies. How? Well, our model, in our card, we have money that it's given, no? We would be, in this card, there will be little different offers on all these little markets and companies that people, so all the people that lives nearby can go and buy there. So like that, they can buy the same products as in the supermarket, but cheaper. And they would also save money in transport. That's how it could be eco-friendly and better for the economy of these little companies and better for the economy of the family, because they save more money. That's why our model would also solve the economy problems of the family and of these little markets. So, well, an example of New Zealand that they started to use this model, that it's in-kind benefits, that is what we want to use. It showed that these people started to win more money, started to work more, and try to better more their lives than if we gave them money in cash. So that's why our model will fix all these problems. Thank you very much, and Trade People with Kindness, Harry Styles, Love on Tour 2021.
Thank you very much. The time is 4 minutes, 58 seconds. 4 minutes, 58 seconds. Thank you very much. We now invite the second speaker of the opposition to continue with their case. Please welcome them.
Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students. The motion to be delivered this morning is this House would only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services, rather than cash payments. We, as the opposing team, stoutly believe that the simple concept of welfare stops people from fully developing, but cash offers attributes that basic goods and services don't, and that is opportunities. However, the second speaker from the proposition team attempted to tell you that how will you make the software? I mean, how will it work in order for a functional service? And do you really think that every needy people will have a computer? Please adapt to the situation since again, do you really think they will not have this? If they do not have the basic needs, would they have a computer? And again, you're limiting the future development of the individual by offering only these resources. You're taking them out outright. So then I will give light on one point called money open source. So then to link us to my first layer of analysis, a first item to mention is to come down to earth to the conditions Argentina is passing through, and how adding this specific social plant will bring more discomforts than goods. Since resources may save people, but at the moment, they may not help them for the future development of the individual. That means for the future development of the country, society. Yes.
Do you think that it's more expensive making a software or giving the money to the deaf people?
Yes, I think that it is more expensive, all the process providing basic goods has than offering cash, and that I will expose it in my second layer of analysis. Resources may supply you, but they may not offer you an opportunity, an escape from the situation they are passing through. By offering this, you are keeping poor people poor. And yes, you might say, but by providing someone a basic good, then it can receive a lot of opportunities and could possibly get a job. But really, taking into consideration Argentina's condition, will you really be able to provide every need people presentable resources, basic goods? Since I don't. And please develop with which trademarks you will work with. Specify this, please. And which specific products you will provide in order of being equal with every citizen, but at the same time not being that expensive, since you provide it, but really globally, and it is needed a more detailed explanation for this. And also, in order of being sure there will be enough for all the population, please provide a complete explanation. And if you don't, then again, there is a failure in your plan. And so then, develop again, how will it be the transport from this food? By which companies? Since you mentioned, yes, it will help Argentina's economic situation, but provide by which companies will it be? And also ensure that there will be no interest behind this system, no interest from the government, for example. And in order of being sure too, food will arrive on optimal conditions since to the person who specifically needs this. Develop your point, since according to Argentina's economic situation, this plan has to be really well organized in order to achieve it, in order to achieve the common benefits. And this topic leads in my second layer of analysis, which is the cost these plans will take. Since when the government gives people in-kind support like food, this costs more to deliver that support than it would be to distribute cash. Due to its transport, all the agencies you have to contact that please develop that agencies, and all the process these resources pass through. For instance, the food program costs at least 20% more to administer, and sometimes they do not arrive on the optimal conditions. So then it is less effective, bringing more discomforts than goods. And getting a little bit more deeper in what the first speaker mentioned, the society cannot be transformed if the individual is not at first transformed, if the individual is not get out from that loop of poverty. Since society signs what is true, what is asset. So ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students, due to Argentina's economic situation, there is no more time to play, especially if the plan is wrong organized, and its consequences are highly impacting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The time is 5 minutes, 10 seconds. 5 minutes, 10 seconds. Thank you very much. We now invite the third speaker of the proposition to close their case. Please welcome them.
Guillermo Lopez. With the money the government gave him, he bought a box of beer. The kids are still waiting for dinner. Good afternoon, good morning, judges, audience, and worthy opponents. I'm the third speaker of the opposition team. And before I start with my case, I would like to repeat some things that the second speaker of the opposition team have just said. Okay, they talk about, when they started talking about the software, they make it really difficult when it's something really simple that it's used today. So like, for example, an app called Mercado Pago, when you buy with your phone, you buy with technology, it's something all of us know how to use and very intuitive. And people, it's really easy to install this software. It's not necessary to have a computer, you can have just a phone. And it's like an investment, because with this money, you would have more clients, that is the people with tarjeta alimentaria that will come to your store because of the offers and different privileges they have in this one. So the small and medium companies will have more benefits with just installing a software that is not that hard. They also talk about what products. Yeah.
Do you think a poor person has a phone or a computer?
Okay, I get your point, but let's say it's an investment. You buy a computer or a cell phone even, when you can have this software that would attract more clients to your store. They talk about what products you can buy with this card, and my first speaker explained, you can buy any products that are not unhealthy or that they can damage your diet, like alcohol, cigarettes. You can buy any type of food, hygiene products, and some basic needs. And if you are in a country that is not provide education or health, like it's in Argentina, the card will have some modifications.
Point of information.
No, sorry. And then the transport. These small and medium companies are usually near the house of many people. There's a lot of these companies all over the world, so they can go walking, and they still buy in a supermarket nowadays. So the food will not run out, and it will be the same. Just that we will be fostering new companies to come to become bigger. Now I will deliver the 2 points of clash I have found in this debate. The first one is called Upside Down. They talk about how this card and this program will increase poverty, but we think completely the opposite. By having a healthy diet and a healthy nutrition, this is the base of anything, we will be breaking cycles. We will make these people have a job, how the kids will be educating the proper way. No, it's the base of everything, having a basic goods. And also they talk about how it's not our problem, or we should let them use the money in a negative or positive way. They can all use it as they want. But this money, let me remember you, that comes from taxes that people pay to help them. So they don't want them to use it in a negative way. They're trying to make their life better, and buying alcohol or not using it in the same way, they're not making anyone's life more comfortable, better, or improving their situation. No, sorry. And they also talk about how, they admit that by having a good nutrition, they would have more chances of getting a job or being educated well. So what else do we want? Education, health, and food is the base of everything. So we should put it first. And the second point of clash I have found is called independence, and they talk about how we are taking them their choice of getting the food, of applying what they want. But we are not taking the choice away. They can still buy that food, but not with the money that the government and people have delivered to them. With that money, they should do the best they can. That is buying basic goods such as food, hygiene products, education, transport, etc. Of course, this card would be modified in each country, so they could have any service and basic good they need. So we are not taking anyone's choice away. They could buy it with their own incomes. Just the card will be used as the government planned it from the first moment. Now I will do a brief summary of my case, and it's that in this argument, with the first argument, we prove that we will better society and we will foster a healthy nutrition, keeping track of what each family eats. In the second argument that tackles the political aspect, We proved that we will avoid corruption with this model. And in the third argument that tackles the economical aspect of the motion, we proved that we will improve economy of the families, small and medium companies, and so the country's one, like we have proved with the example of New Zealand. Thank you very much, and remember, treat people with kindness, Harry Styles, Love on Tour 2021.
Thank you very much. The time is 4 minutes, 58 seconds. 4 minutes, 58 seconds. Thank you very much. We now invite the third speaker for the opposition to close their case. Please welcome them.
Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Gonzaga, and I'm the third speaker representing the opposing team for today's debate. The topic for today's debate is this House would only provide welfare in the form of basic goods and services rather than cash payments. We, the opposition team, disagree with the given motion. We believe that the simple concept of welfare stops people from fully developing independently, but cash offers something basic goods and services don't, and that is opportunities. Before summarizing the team case, I will repeat what the proposition team stated. The proposition said throughout this debate that they would make a software that involves using a computer or a cell phone. Do you think a poor person actually has a cell phone or a computer? On the other hand, with cash payments, you can buy anything you want. They also stated that they would avoid corruption, but they never said how. They said that the things people buy after they use the tarjeta alimentar is not their problem. By saying this, you are avoiding the problem, and if this is like this, why not give cash in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense.
What information?
Denied. As they didn't specify which businesses would give the basic goods, we could say that this business is fraud and gives out expired food. It doesn't make any sense. Lastly, they also stated that a healthy diet makes them have a job. How? It just doesn't make any sense. Throughout this whole debate, we have proven that providing cash payments as a form of welfare is a better option than giving goods and services. To start off, we have proven that if a person receives money and they have to care for it and use it, it forces them to learn how to administer it, therefore developing their independent skills. On the other hand, with a tarjeta alimentar...
Thank you for information.
Yes.
And what about all the people that uses the money on the wrong way?
I mean, yes, there will be people that use the money in a wrong way. But besides from that being a generalization, if with your tarjeta alimentar, you can buy, for say, a pack of rice, and you can sell this rice and use the money to buy drugs anyway. It just doesn't make any sense, your plan. As we have explained, if a person is denied, as we have explained, if a person is being provided with goods and services, their economic situation will not change whatsoever. With the tarjeta alimentar, you buy what the government wants you to buy, and you never get out of this infinite loop. It just doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, if a person is being provided with cash payments, they can leave the infinite loop by using their cash payments to buy a cell phone and work with Pedido Ya, for example. What does this mean? If you are giving cash payments, you can use these cash payments to buy a cell phone per se, and buy a phone or buy a bicycle and start working with Pedido Ya or Rappi. Goods and services evade accepted.
Do you think that a cell phone is welfare or a basic need?
I never said that a cell phone is basic goods or a service. I'm saying that you can buy a phone with this cash. I'm not, we the opposition team do not have to give out basic goods. We have to give out cash. Goods and services evade people from living their economic situation.
Information.
Denied. We have also proven that a right is a right. Every person has the right to make decisions as long as it only affects their life, no matter if it affects them negatively or positively. By giving welfare in the form of physical resources, you're not giving a person the right to make a decision and administrate themselves in the way they please. Of course, there will be people that don't use the money smartly, but besides from it being a generalization, every person has the right to use
Information.
Accepted.
We are not taking anyone's decision. We are just letting them buy the right things.
Can you repeat it? Can you repeat?
With the card, are we with the card? We are taking someone's option away by telling me, but encourage them to buy the right things.
I mean, with the card, with the tarjeta alimentar, you are basically telling a person what to buy, in which supermarket to buy, and where to buy everything. It just doesn't make any sense. You are not giving a person the right to buy anything they please, which is a human right, and it's a basic right, and it's common sense. We have also strongly proven that the manufacture of goods and services is not efficient at all. I mean, what does this mean? I mean, creating a business just to use the tarjeta alimentar doesn't make any sense, because basically, as you didn't specify which businesses will have the option to use the tarjeta alimentar, we could say that it could be any service. Goods and services could also come in a very bad state, and it would be impossible to take or carry those goods. Again, as you didn't specify which a business will do it, we could say that the business is fraud and gives out expired goods. So, ladies and gentlemen, we believe this motion should not stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The time is 5 minutes, 18 seconds. 5 minutes, 18 seconds. Now, both teams have 1 minute to prepare their reply speeches. The minute has passed. Let me remind everyone that reply speeches are half the time, therefore there will be 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, throughout which no points of information are allowed. During the reply speech, I will be simply giving hand gestures for minute 1, minute 2, and then I will be double clapping at minute 2:30. Without further ado, I invite the opposition to give the reply speech.
So, well, what have we seen today? Good morning once again. Throughout this whole debate, as the opposition team, we have continuously proven that giving welfare in the form of cash has all the benefits that giving basic goods and services lack. We have delivered 3 effective points. The first one, called the development of the people, means the development of the country, which clearly explained how giving basic goods and services don't let poor people develop and become better. We have provided facts and hypothetical situations. Our second point, titled "A right is a right," explained how giving basic goods and services goes against a person's free will. And finally, our third point, called "Money Opens Doors," explains how giving welfare in the form of cash is more effective and secure. In the end, our debate comes down to one fundamental question. First one being, is giving cash as welfare really effective? We have stated that it is, because it allows people to develop their independent skills for the future situation in which they will not be poor anymore. Because after all, that is supposed to be our goal, right? To stop people from being poor. However, with the model proposition proposed, poor people are never learning. They are stuck in a loop in which they do not become better, in which they do not develop. Giving a card by which they will be sustained will not adapt to our country. Let's take, for example, such wanted law in our country like the Ley de Humedales. It's been almost 10 years or more since this was proposed, and it's still not approved. And we really think that our whole country will adapt to such system, a system in which new cars have to be introduced, in which new taxes will have to be introduced, because I would like to mention something that the opposition said, is that the money that we propose that will be given to poor people is going to come from taxes. And where do we think that the money from the cars are going to come from? Taxes also. So it is basically the same. And I would like to point another thing said by the proposition team. The first one being, when we asked about how they will be so sure that those receiving welfare won't sell the needs to gain money, they responded, and I quote, what people do after we give them the goods is not a problem. This is clearly showing that the proposition team doesn't really care for the well-being of the people who are receiving welfare. They are not caring for them. They are proposing a model, but they are not caring for their well-being. They are simply saying, I will give you the goods, but what you do after the goods is not my problem, so I will not take responsibility for that. However, we have stated that we would like them to develop because our country will develop. We have clearly shown that we care for the people who are receiving welfare. So this is why we, the opposition team, believe that we should win this case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The time is 2:42. And now we invite the proposition to give their reply speech and close this debate.
Good morning, judges, members of the audience, and my worthy opponents. I am the second speaker of the proposition team, and today is the last time that the proposition team will talk in this debate. So, do cash payments really help people? No, we have already shown that no. We have shown examples and statistics. For example, New Zealand, all the people that buys dollars, all the people that is there and receives money, and we have shown that cash payments do not improve people's lives. And don't you think that giving money to deaf people is a missed opportunity? Well, yes, we think that it's a missed opportunity. You're taking the opportunity of somebody to eat and to live by giving money to deaf people. So that's why we think it's a missed opportunity. And do you really think that you care for people in poverty line if you are not caring for them to eat or for their health, or if you don't care because of leading them for a healthy way like that? We get to know that you don't care for people in poverty line. But do benefits in kind help these people? Yes, we have also shown that it helps people in poverty line, because we would avoid corruption as much as we can. We cannot be in every single situation, but it is the first and biggest and main step to avoid all this corruption. It's what we can do, and we are trying our best to avoid all this corruption, and we think that's a very good way, how we've shown before. Second, the people will better their economy. They will still have many options to eat and to buy but these options are just healthier. If they want to buy other things with the money, they can, but we are just leading them by a healthy way so they can have a better and a healthier life economically and in health way, you know. So all this money also comes from the taxes. Yes, it does, but if this money comes from the taxes, we want people to use it in the right way. We want these taxes to be used in the right way to get out the best of these taxes. With these taxes, if we go and buy healthy, if we give people healthy options, if we help people to save money and if we avoid corruption, we will be like that, giving people money that it's not in cash and helping the poverty line society, just how the motion says. So with our model, we have proved that we would avoid corruption, we would better people's life in a healthier way, and we will save their economy. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The time is 2 minutes, 29 seconds. Now the judges will move to another room in order to fill out our mark sheets and reach a final decision. Then we'll come back and we'll give everyone your feedback. Please remember that you're still being live streamed in any case.
Felicitaciones, chicas, por llegar hasta acá.
Gracias. Gracias, igual.
In just a few more minutes, judges will be back from the breakout room and they will give the briefing for the Acorn Cup 2022 Grand Final.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the wait. When we have all 5 judges, it takes some time, maybe sometimes to everyone give their opinion and develop all of our ideas and put everything together. So give me a second that I open up this last thing. So, first of all, congratulations to both teams for reaching the grand finals. It's been a long year. Okay, you guys have to travel online, face-to-face, back to online. It's been a long year for all of us. So congratulations for sticking to this long year, debating throughout it, and improving with every debate. So for both teams, congratulations for getting here. Now to the moment of truth, what everyone is waiting for. So in a debate, as judges, we focus on 3 main things: our style, content, and strategy. Before going into those things, to give out some housekeeping, mostly for points of information and the participation throughout the debate, remember to try to ask at least 2 points of information to each speaker, or at least try to have between 5 and 6 total points of information. Both teams could work more on that, especially this being a final. By giving point of information, you're showing that you're active, not only when you're speaking, but when you're sitting down. There's something really good. Careful not to give them all in the same 10 seconds, but always try to be active and offering those points. I know it can be difficult, you're writing things down and everything, but in the case of sitting down together, sharing and passing points will be good. This is one of the points for housekeeping. Going into style, prepared motions have specific details that will affect different parts of the speeches, especially with style, in which you guys have maybe a lot to say, have lots of things you want to develop. You look at your papers and there's too many things sometimes, so you tend to go faster through it. Careful with this. Okay, in style in general for both teams, it was not bad, but careful with maybe speaking too fast at times, especially since we're through a computer. Microphones will capture some things, maybe not the other. We each have different computers, different ways to listen. So maybe going a little bit slower, more clear with some points, especially with the important points that you have, will give your arguments more strength instead of trying to gloss over or cover everything that you have. This is one thing that is, I'm not saying the styles are bad, but there are still places to improve. You guys are juniors, you have a lot more years in front of you, so it's a good thing to focus on in the future. Going into content. Now, like I said, what I said, everything's connected, of course, in the debate, right? Nothing is isolated. So everything I'm saying from style and the prepared motions will spill into what we have here with content. This need of covering lots of ideas or covering big things and maybe going fast through them, for both teams, the judges felt that there is still a need to go more into depth with each one. Okay, explain more, develop that explanation more. Okay, we felt that from both sides, you guys were giving out ideas, you were naming them there, but we still were missing maybe a little extra to connect those ideas to your emotion, connect those ideas together to make it a whole and stronger case. This comes from what we said before. You try to cover lots of things and you have a lot of time to find lots of information. And this will affect what you're building here. Now, connecting this point in content that the judges, all judges agreed upon, is where we start finding the division between the decision and the judges. I'll say this, I will say the result now and then explain it, because then it's going to be very difficult to make things clear. It is a split decision, okay, and it's for the opposition. because of the things I'll start developing now in this moment. This point here that we said about the development of the arguments and to give them more depth, to explain more, the majority of the judges, I would say that's a split, felt that for the proposition, this was in a way a bigger mistake, not to go more into depth, since the judges were waiting for you guys to develop, and this is also for the opposition, not just for the proposition, I'll get to them, to develop all the points that were named. Okay, everything that you guys say throughout the debate, opposition also, if you say that this will solve poverty, we need a specific explanation into depth of how this will solve poverty. Opposition, if you say that it's not going to solve poverty, we need a little bit more in depth of how it's not going to happen. There were some points throughout the debate, for example, the point of the software, which both teams were saying that yes, no, and it didn't go anywhere. Okay, in this case specifically, the judges felt that the point of software went back and forth, but we never understood who got the upper hand there. Okay, so because we're missing more depth maybe to your reasoning behind it. But there were some points that the majority of the judges felt that needed to be explained. One key point named by the majority is the point of corruption. Yes, proposition, you named that this will help solve corruption. Using the word corruption here means that you need to explain how the corruption will be solved, not simply saying it. Opposition was able to clearly ask about corruption throughout their speeches, throughout the debate, and the majority of the judges felt that this was a question that was not answered, therefore it starts creating a doubt. Also, another point of doubt that comes from this same things I'm talking about, of the need for a little bit more explanation, also is the point of all the questions that opposition starts asking, proposition starts trying to answer. The point of software was taking it with a back and forth with the 20 thing. Then the point of logistics, which was not a very strong attack of the opposition, truly, because it's not possible to go for logistics and everything and every single company, but proposition takes their time to answer these questions, therefore taking time off from the development. Okay, it's not a point towards proposition, but it's not a point towards opposition, but proposition that spend their time answering those questions, taking time off from further developing their points. Another question that comes from this lack of further development is on the point of, okay, nutrition. Yes, it does. Nutrition is important for us. It's something good, but how is nutrition proving that this motion is correct, that we should do what the motion says? Okay, it was kind of named, it was said there, but we need maybe more focus on development and how is this connected. That's what was the feeling here as for the judges. And then the judges agreed that one important point that the debate brought was the solution of poverty. And questionings from the opposition, in a way, were not fully answered by the proposition, again creating a new point of doubt that it adds on to the point of corruption, and then, well, the point of software that falls for no one. These are the main reasons in which there is a reasonable doubt towards the end of the debate. That is the job of the opposition, and that's why the majority of this, that's why it's a split decision, and the majority of the judges gave it towards the opposition. So congratulations for both teams. We had to take our time to explain our points and to develop all our ideas in order to clearly organize this feedback. And we hope to see everyone next year keep on debating and improve. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to both teams, and we remind you both that at 4 o'clock we will have a prize giving ceremony in which both of you will be awarded for your performance during this year. Okay, so we hope to see you there, and thank you to all judges.
Thank you.